Well, they say kids never come by unless they need something.
Dad, I need your help.
I'll get my coat.
30 years in the future.
We are fighting a war. Our enemy is not human, and we are losing.
We need you to fight.
I will be back. And I love you, Chickpea.
7 days from now, when you're sent into that war, you won't be fighting for your country. You'll be fighting for the world.
Is it all right?
Yeah, going to war.
Stop talking. Listen.
Sorry, when I'm nervous, I talk. I'm like a 97 on the nervous scale.
That should be fun.
Welcome to the future. You and your unit are now in 2051.
They're everywhere.
We are food, and they are hungry. Our enemy is smarter, faster, and stronger than you can possibly imagine. Do you want to see something really dangerous?
I feel like literally that's all I've been doing since I got here, but okay.
Within the next few weeks, the human species will disappear from the face of the earth.
Nothing we do here matters.
No, that's where you're wrong. I don't believe that one bit.
Together, we can stop this war from ever happening.
This is my opportunity to give this world a second chance. Second chances are really hard to come by.
Light him up!
I'm not gonna hide. I'm gonna fight.
It's not even loaded.
Yeah, it's not loaded. It's a pressurized cabin. Why would I load it in the cabin? The bullet goes in thing and everybody's sucked out.
Hello and welcome to the periodic table of awesome. It is Tuesday night and it's still lockdown and we're here. We're just
Tuesday
here.
night again.
Yeah. Hello, it's Tuesday.
And we're looking into a webcam again. And yes, hello. My name is Dion. I'm excited to be here with you, which is the people that I can see here, and also with the people that are here, which is the chat, which I should actually point that way. There we go. That's my intro. Carry on. Yes, and
That's your cue, Quinny.
Oh, is it? Hi, I'm Quinny. Lovely of you to join us. I can't say anything about the chat because I don't have the screen available to me. Right. But the two people who are up there are amazing. Who are you?
Which side am I on? I'll go first.
Correct.
Hey, it's me, your girl Jill. We watched two things for this week. Yay.
Yay, because we changed our minds.
Yep. It wasn't a hard thing to do either.
Absolutely.
I don't know, guys. I actually could spend an entire hour just ranting.
Yeah.
On this film.
Sure.
I was torn on that one. By the way, who are you?
I'm Peter.
Yay.
Hi.
And I did have that moment because this is the great thing about science, is that when new information presents itself to you, you can take that information on board and you can change your belief systems. Sure. And in this particular case, the new information was, oh, fuck, He-Man's out.
Yes.
It's all like, there seems to be a dead spot in the release schedule. Nah, couldn't be anything on that. I won't bother reading the press releases. It should be fine. Yeah. We'll just throw something in there. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's true. It has basically just summed up the review I was going to give. But you're right, Peter. We could very easily have spent the entirety of a.
But we're going to spend some time with it, aren't we? We're going to talk about it.
I don't know why you'd want to give it so much breath. Honestly, it's a thing that happened.
Sometimes
yes,
but
so much of it was so bad, Jill.
Exactly.
So much of it was so dumb.
Come on,
the entire premise.
I mean, okay, look where it started out from. All right, because well, maybe we should talk about what we are going to be doing. We're going to be talking about a review of Amazon Prime Video's The Tomorrow War, and then we're going to switch over to
Masters of the Masters of the Universe Revelations
on which service?
Netflix.
There you go.
I like that you were just waiting. You were just waiting
for that one. But yeah, we're going to talk about The Tomorrow, which it started with such promise. Let's be honest here, because no, come on. Come on here. Come on now. Like,
which was the
sorry, this is my Thor look. Did it though?
This was announced, when Amazon, just remember, Amazon hasn't been around too long, like as a streaming service. It's ramped up very quickly. So
your point is,
and this was when Chris Pratt was like at the higher up, like basically they were throwing money at it. You've got Chris Pratt, you've Von Stravinsky, J.K. Simmons, and all the other dead people that were on the.
Sorry,
film.
I love the way that you pronounce those. All sounded like the Wish versions of them.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt, Yvonne Stravinsky, and Joke Simmons.
Joke Simmons.
I would love this. Actually, you know what this movie is? This is a really good science fiction action movie if you ordered it from Wish.
Absolutely. I mean, come on, think of the rapid pace of this. It was 2019. So they were putting this together. They started to put this together just pre-pandemic. And then they made it, and now it's out. In terms of
shows, though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, no, I am all down to tear this thing an asshole that it didn't have before. But
and I don't usually like doing that because a lot of people put a lot of work into this.
Sure.
But fuck me, plot.
It had a lot of it. It had a lot of plot.
It was plotzing all over the place.
It was plotzing. Should we It's been out for a little while, and I'm sorry that we're a bit delayed in doing this, but we were kind of there was more shit that came out that was more interesting.
There was more interesting things to do in the weeks leading up to this particular week, and it was one of those ones where we did get to a point where do we still want to do it?
Yeah, because there was a gap in the schedule. We sure, we'll do this. It'll be a good little reaction, and now we've got something more interesting.
But we hope that everybody in the chat has actually had a chance to watch it, or at the very least don't care that they are going to watch it afterwards, because we are going to be pretty spoilerific, because we are splitting the show up into halves and doing two things. We are probably going to be spoilery pretty much from the get-go.
My question is, should I put the spoiler logo up now?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Maybe just whack it on there. We're not going to be careful.
No. There you go.
No, we're not tap dancing around.
Fairly warned, but not He-Man apparently. So for this one,
yeah,
right. And fair enough for He-Man. He-Man is part one, so it's just a part one. It's only 5 episodes. You haven't watched those 5 episodes. What are you doing with your life? Go out and watch them now. You probably get
Yes.
You probably get at least 2 or 3.
I do believe you just told one of our wonderful mods to go off and not watch the stream and go and watch He-Man. So.
Sure, we can moderate. We can do it all. We can do it all at once. We're
cool. Of course
totally
we can.
fine with this.
So, do we want a synopsis of the Tomorrow War?
Sure. Let me see if I can find you some background music. So,
is it going to be all jingoistic and flag wavy and shit?
Or is it going to be the Black Widow soundtrack?
Yeah, might have heard it before because I still haven't changed the button.
Fucking Teen Spirit again. Shit.
Okay, and can we drop some? I want some emotes in the chat. I know we don't have emotes yet, but I think we need to have emotes for when I'm going to do a shit accent.
This is constantly.
So, yeah, let's see. While I'm doing this, let's brainstorm some emotes for what the shit accent emote is.
Okay.
In the Tomorrow War, the world is stunned when a group of time travelers arrive from the year 2051 to deliver an urgent message. 30 years in the future, mankind is losing a global war against a deadly alien species. The only hope for survival as soldiers and civilians from the present to be transported to the future and join the fight. Among those recruited is high school teacher and family man Dion Forrester. He's a good old boy. Determined to save the world for his young daughter, Dan teams up with a brilliant scientist, Ivan Strahovski, and his estranged father, J.K. Simmons, in a desperate quest to rewrite the fate of the planet.
Why are you like old-timey Wild West?
It's a shit accent, I told you.
An army general person, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I could have tried for Ali Ermery. You know, I didn't know they could stack shit that high.
you were going to do. You're going to come. We come from the future to come back to the past to find the people from the past to take the future and kill.
Did your parents have any children that lived? No. Well, get in the Tomorrow War.
Yeah. Get in the Tomorrow.
Let's just dive into the biggest problem here. We just have to get it out of the way.
What is the big problem?
If you're losing a terrible war against an alien race and you find a time machine that can take you back 30 years, do you, A, use it to throw random untrained civilians from the past at your problem, or B,
throw bodies at the problem,
or B, instigate a breeding program, Ender's Game style, train up an entire army, get them ready for what they're about to face, and also do all of the science in that 30 years that you seem to be doing in the last 5 minutes of your existence.
Yeah, no.
Which one do you do?
Well, if you're the Australian federal government, you do the former.
Oh
Yes.
dear, I think
Wow.
that's perfect. Thank you, Jill. This movie is what happens if the current Australian federal government is in charge of the Tomorrow War. No, we just get
ScoMo
more.
says, I don't fight aliens, mate.
Yeah. I don't pick up guns.
It's like
it's
the worst use of time travel as plot device I have ever seen, ever, in anything. And we did an entire episode just on time travel things.
Yes.
It is astonishingly dumb. And
I kind of liked it because it was different to anything that's been done before. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Let's see what happens if you do that.
But it just deviates so much from every single time travel kind of factor where you're just like, no, this movie can only go this way and like blah blah blah, and it's like, okay. But then why, this whole idea that there is a time travel device that's developed in the future that can only, do it slowly, and they just send waves and waves of untrained civilians into a death machine.
Yeah.
That has already wiped out 95% of the future armies of the world.
Yeah.
And all of the armies of the present that you also threw at it. Before you started throwing civilians.
I love the fact that they decide we're going to go for a fucking civilian untrained army and not even to the point where we're going to put them in clothes that make sense.
No.
Just wear your heels, honey. It's okay.
Off the
Yeah,
street.
Rhonda from finance just like rocked up after work and she's there in her pantsuit and ready to go.
Surely at some point in time, somebody goes, you know what? Maybe wear the appropriate footwear for this gig. I don't know.
Which is so weird because they were given like 12 hours before they had to actually come back. So like, why didn't anyone get changed? Why didn't everyone grab some sneakers or,
Yeah, comfortable running shoes, some kind of appropriate clothing. Nah. Fuck that. We're going to the future.
Yeah, well, as Rob actually does point out, work for Independence Day. Get an old drunk and put him in a fighter plane. No problem. Wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, no worries.
I have so many problems with this as a concept of a film. Like the dumbassery of the time travel and everything is a massive part of it. But the thing that actually irks me and makes me kind of hate the film is its bullshit jingoistic flag waving anyone with a gun can be a hero message.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's
so right wing.
I didn't
It's
get
so
that.
right. Let's arm everybody and then no one gets killed.
And everybody
Down
can be
logic.
armed. Everybody is fine, but also we're going to give you an entirely legitimate villain to shoot at, completely untrained, and any one of you could be the hero of the future. It doesn't matter whether you're wearing your civvies or whatever, so long as you've got a gun, you're okay. And I'm like, Fuck me.
I didn't get that whole moral relativist point in the film. Did I miss something? Was it not that America's great and guns are great and militias are fine? And it's actually totally okay to be a absolute dyed-in-the-wool anti-government prepper. But when you're called for service, you turn up and that just makes it all okay. What the fuck is going on? So many conflicting messages.
My other favorite thing about this is anyone who knows any of the science knows all of the science.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you know
that's how science works?
But on the flip side of that, you don't actually ever need specialists in any scientific fields to get any answers. What you actually need is people with very little knowledge, and they will give you the answers that the specialists could not figure out.
A special kid who happens to know about volcanoes is the
okay.
most important person in the world.
This is in the past. The volcanologists haven't all been killed yet.
Yeah, no.
And especially, like, who would care about volcanologists when you know some kid at a high school who's really into volcanoes? Although I will say that when I was watching that and that came up, and I was like, well, there's your plot point. And I thought it was a bit of a red herring, which is kind of good for the end of the movie, because as soon as the kid was like, this kid is really into volcanoes, and then the first person that Chris Pratt's character, like Dan, good old time Dan meets when he's about to get fucking thrown into the meat grinder, is someone who's like, hi, I'm a geologist. And I just was like, oh, for fuck's sake, they're going to have to put something in a volcano.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like movies 101. We'll sprinkle that. But when it didn't end up them blowing up all the aliens with a volcano at the end, I was kind of like, fair enough.
You did set the bar so fucking low, D.
Yeah, I was like,
Like, it wasn't abjectly stupid. I'll give it a pass. But it was. It was abjectly fucking stupid. And I really loved that Struidick's point from earlier, that it is a collection of bits out of other better movies.
Yes. Well, a collection of ideas, themes from other movies.
No, I'd say it's
it
a
wasn't
collection
even
of
bits.
Like, there's like, you know, the bit where they go to the snow, that's, you know, let's take a bit of the thing.
Yeah, but there was no sniper rifle.
Bit of Prometheus.
There was no sniper
now
rifle
let's do that bit of
gunfight
aliens.
in
Sorry?
the thing. There was no sniper rifle gunfight in the thing.
But
Probably would have
there
been
probably should have been, let's be
cooler.
honest.
I mean, there's a helicopter dog chase scene with a rifle in the thing, and that was way better. And shot in the 80s, so
yeah.
Fuck these guys. They had budget.
I mean, we can
look. Can we give it something with the ridiculous action scenes fun? There was some fun, ridiculous action, right?
There was, but also the weird decision to occasionally just slip into montage. Like, we're doing an action scene, but now, because we're in the middle of it, let's just montage a little bit so that we can get to the next set piece. It's like,
I mean, look, it did a couple of things right.
What happened?
I want to talk about the pros of it. Like, you know, what do you think was good about the Tomorrow War? One, they acknowledge climate change. Two, they had a foundational understanding that science is good.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, this is fine. This is all fine. Like, you know, acknowledge climate change. Science is actually good. And that was about the best things of the movie.
You didn't think like the action was fun?
No, I hated every single moment of all of the action that went through, and it was a total waste. And to come back to one thing that I was talking about off screen, I was about to say something. All right, which I can say right now is one of the things about this one is that J.K. Simmons was worked out insanely for this film. Like, he had a huge...
I heard the term coined prison muscles.
Yeah, like he's huge. And what did they do? They just had him covered up and he didn't even do really badass kind of things. But then also no one really got to do any badass kind of stuff, because my biggest letdown with the entire thing was the aliens.
You didn't like the aliens?
I thought that they looked fine. I thought that they moved like a plot device and not a good one. Like, it was just kind of...
No, they had a very specific way in which they functioned so that you could kill them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
You
mean-
have to shoot their belly or up in their throat.
Yeah, which is again, what's a great alien from recent movies is the one from A Quiet Place. Heavily armored, only
watched
one.
those yet.
Yeah, okay, heavily armored, but only one weakness: tracks by sound. Explanation that goes on. Understandable. Humanity is pushed to the verge of extinction. These ones, not really. Don't really understand why they're pushed to the verge of extinction. They move super fast. They like I kind of look at them and go, they
spines.
Yeah, they move and they work around in certain ways that you just kind of go, holy shit, these things are super killers. But there's always like a little weakness. It's like, wow, you made it too good. Like one of the best.
As in the aliens are too.
Yeah, the aliens
powerful.
are too powerful, and you don't believe any of this because there's no thing. Like, I mean, Aliens as a series,
Aliens.
Works really well because they're powerful and they're strong and there's lots of them, but also they're weak enough to be able to be killed.
Yeah.
Weren't they hive driven anyway? So if you killed the queen, the rest would, die.
No.
Which one?
I mean,
Aliens?
the queen was in charge, but a single drone alien could still.
Yeah, that was
reproduce
kind of
and fuck you up.
These things, they move, too fast. They've got ranged weaponry.
I mean, for me, I looked at them and just went, okay, so to make the joke again, it was if you'd gotten the monsters from Edge of Tomorrow, from Wish.
No, I prefer. Well, okay, these ones are kind of like you can see what they are. The ones from Edge of Tomorrow are just like flippy.
Dreadlock monsters.
Well, kind of, but you never know where they are or what they do, and they move funny, and you can't tell what's going on. These ones you can sort of clearly see them, but then again, they move too fast. They are too powerful, so there's no point fighting them. Like people, like
I don't know, like when Chris Pratt can take one down in a hallway using all of his bullets and his gun and then an axe.
Yeah. Yeah, and as Casper says, last one, the aliens can take out a Humvee. Like, and they're like, no, we'll just send untrained civilians with guns at them. They'll do. Like, call in an
Drop them from a
airstrike.
random point in the air. Everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Like that, from my perspective, was one of those moments where you're just like, what? Why was? I mean, I assume something went wrong, but why the fuck did you have to drop them? Above a building so that some of them went in the pool.
Because it
half
looked
of
cool. But also, why did that
sorry,
need
Jill.
to be? Why did that need to be in the cold opening? Like, I don't think we needed that.
No.
No.
It just kind of spoiled that moment.
Yeah.
Like, we know what's about to happen. Everyone's about to get fucked up.
It's the bit where they get dropped into the poo. Yeah, I saw this 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Cool.
There were some moments in the action sequences where I was like, okay, I was impressed with the scope. Like they were, big action sequences and they went on for a long time. And I was like, this is really, quite a lot of explosions. And,
Well, this is going on for a long time. That's not what you want from an action sequence. Like, they've done a long action sequence here. This is exceptional.
But I kept on, for every time I was watching it, I just went, I feel like I've seen this in another film. Like whether it be Edge of Tomorrow or whether it be Aliens or whether it be, The Thing or something else.
Yeah.
It just, It
was a pastiche of better films. And that's the most sort of frustrating thing.
So was there anything... I don't know. Peter, are we done with it? Do you have anything else you want to hate on it? I feel like
there are so many things. I could
throw
hate
some
on
more hand
individual
grenades
plot
at
points all night. If I
Go
wanted
on.
to, I could take every single plot point and say, but why?
Yeah.
But why? But why is my theme for this review.
Right.
Like, but why? Oh, we're developing this serum and we have to get it finished before, like, but why? Why not just send what you need back to the past? Then I'll have 30 years to develop it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm developing the serum, but I'm not going to tell you how I'm going to administer it until I've perfected the serum. But why?
But why?
But why? Oh no, she's just been swallowed up by the jaws of an alien. I'm going to dive in after her. But why?
Yeah, you're
why?
humanity's last hope, so I'm going to throw myself into my own depth.
Oh, here's a spaceship full of aliens that we could save the world by dispatching of quickly. But let's just, go in and wake them up instead. But
why?
But why?
It was an accidental wake up. Didn't you know that they were trying to kill them all in their sleep and they accidentally woke them up and then they didn't have.
If blowing them up was an option,
yes,
I know.
Accidentally.
Well,
I did have that moment where I was like, "Fuck! Why don't you just take a photo of the spaceship and then bring in an entire fucking army team of explosive experts and stuff like that and do it properly?" And then they actually addressed that, and I was like, "Ah, fuck."
Yeah.
So Quinny, it would take too long. It's not like they have 30 years or anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
yeah.
why?
But why?
But why?
But
There was
why?
not one single plot point that you can't be like, but why?
Did we talk? I think we talked about this. And someone else.
Sorry, I just shout out to Amy. If that's not a Geiger inspired ship, whose pleasure is it ribbed for? That's the thing. I was looking at it going, this is poor man's fucking Geiger.
It's ribbed.
And it's poor man's fucking aliens, because there were even some aliens in the driver's seat that we don't understand, and it was just like, oh, you're actually doing a riff on Alien.
It's ribbed for our pleasure, Quinny. It's ribbed for our pleasure. That's what. While it is being inserted into our eyes, they need those ridges. Didn't someone? I think someone else. Someone here said to me, outside of this, was like, but if there's a huge worldwide military effort, why is everything very American?
Oh, because everything else got killed quite early on.
Yeah, so the only thing left is just the American military. And all of the commanders are in charge of the Americans.
I'm pretty sure that's the thing, isn't it? Like, America had all the guns, and so that's why they're still alive.
Sure.
I mean, it's also entirely possible that there were still survivors fighting them in other parts of the world, but that doesn't matter to the Americans in the plot. They're like, nah, we're dead, the world is over.
Do you want to have a look at a little clip from?
Oh, go on.
There?
We have to.
If you want to, well, which one do you want to do? Do you want the comedic relief, or do we want that amazing pool scene from that one?
Oh, let's do comedic relief.
Comedic relief.
We've already seen the pool scene twice
because it's short. All right, okay, fine, fair enough.
In the actual film.
Most of you will deploy with D-Force. The rest will jump with R-Force. The screen on your jump band indicates deployment. Check it now.
Oh, I guess we're together. I'm Charlie.
Dan, Roy.
Hey, R-Force.
You can braid each other's hair later. All right, stop talking. Listen.
Totally. Sorry, I mean, when I'm nervous, I talk, and I'm like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a 97 on the nervous scale. Or maybe like a 98. You look like a murderer. No offense. Well, I mean, you do.
He will kill you
I
before
know,
the
I called him a
aliens do.
murderer.
Turn around, man.
I am. Seth, I missed all of that.
Oh, yes. Well, look, I mean, honestly, that's a good character. I liked that character.
I also like that guy. He was like in Veep and Werewolves Within or whatever that new movie was
The
called.
badass guy.
Yeah. No, the black guy.
Charlie, the guy
Charlie.
Charlie.
Right.
The guy that we're talking about.
He's funny. He's funny.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. That was amusing. Then.
I've got another clip. Do you want to go to another clip, Quinny?
No, I really don't.
You're champing at the bit here.
Casper makes a point in the chat. Rewatch Starship Troopers on the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to watch a big alien bug shooty movie that's actually intelligent and has a bunch of things to say on politics and marketing and the media and spin and all that kind of shit, that isn't anywhere near as fucking jingoistic as that, go and watch any of, well, actually, no, the first Starship Troopers movie. I was going to say any of them, but no, only the first one.
Starship Troopers is fun. Stargate, even the original Stargate movie is more fun than this.
Yes.
That's actually very true.
I wouldn't even say it's like, it's not even in the same universe as this. Like, it's so far from it.
I enjoyed Edge of Tomorrow more.
I still haven't seen that.
Live, Die, Repeat.
Live, Die, Repeat. Yeah.
What Edge of Tomorrow is a watchable movie. I
Yes.
can't remember why I decided to watch it eventually because it's not really my thing. But I was like, you know what?
It's
as a time loop thing, this makes sense.
Yeah. To be Emily
in
Blunt,
comparison
it's
to
perfectly
this,
fine.
Edge of Tomorrow is a fucking highly intelligent, entertaining, well-made film that is so many of the same themes as this, but not.
And they might make a sequel. Whereas if they made a sequel to The Tomorrow War, which would be the Today War.
No, it'd be The Day After Tomorrow.
The Day After Tomorrow.
War. Fucking hell. Yeah, look, ratings. Fuck it. We're done. We're done with this. What's your rating? Peter, tell me. You've got opinions.
28.
28. Fair enough.
I was going to say 30, but it seemed too generous.
Way too
28 for the massive effort that went into making this film by many, many people. And you did it. You made a film.
You made
Congratulations.
World's shittiest film.
But I did not like it at all.
Mm.
It angered me in many ways.
I think that I'd just like to understand that the money that went into making this film just stopped Jeff Bezos from being in space for like just 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes shorter.
He didn't even go to space.
We know this. Took his dick rocket just to the he edged space with his dick rocket.
It was the Edge of tomorrow.
the Edge of Tomorrow in the dick rocket by Jeff Bezos. That's good. That's good. Jill, did you do a rating?
No,
Jesus.
I'm gonna give it 65.
Oh, you're up there with Amy.
Because I kind of really liked it. It was just like one of those movies when you just want to sit on the couch and go, and like eat popcorn and just like watch a dumb action movie. And I thought, the time travel explanation. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll buy it.
Don't feel guilty about liking
You're
fast
allowed
film.
to like things.
The last half hour, though, that's where it loses all the points because I'm like, why did that even need to happen?
Well, to me, the last half hour was the bit that actually made some vague amount of sense, where it's like, oh, actually try and fix the problem. Yeah,
and I like Yvonne Strahovski as well. So
I love Yvonne Strahovski, and I should qualify mine by saying, dumb action movies is not how I wind down. So for me, it was just like a whole bunch of why.
It's a good popcorn movie, and if you need something brainless to watch for an action thrill, then this was perfectly cromulent.
There's that word again.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe that's the name of the aliens, the cromulants.
The cromulants.
The cromulants.
Dion, do you have a number?
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100, and honestly, like I would give it a solid 50. Like I don't care either way, but I think by the end of the criminal misuse of most of their good cast, and plus they just removed people. Like it was like watching the Suicide Squad. I'm picking all the background characters, and I'm like, you're gonna die, and I'm surprised when they're not dead immediately. Like that guy with the souvenir claw thing, who's a really tough hombre. I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna die, and then he just lasts all the way through the end. I'm like, okay, fair enough, but I just kept taking marks down as it went on longer, and agreed, just cut a good maybe 45 minutes out of it, and you'd have a really tightly packed, stupid adventure. So I'm gonna get down to like 35.
Oh.
Yeah.
So not 50.
Yeah, it started at 50 because I was watching it going, and a little disappointed because I was kind of like, great, but yeah, the jingoism and the military service and this whole kind of notion and ideology and stuff there. But again, points kind of went up for like, yay, acknowledging climate change. Yay for trusting in science. That's about
Go
it.
Volcano Kid.
Go Volcano Kid. Go science.
I can't Google this, so I'm going to ask the kid in my class.
Yeah, fuck's sake. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go 20. It really, really annoyed the fuck out of me. And I hated that as I was watching it. Like I started watching it, I thought, oh, this is kind of fun. It's got some okay moments in it. But then every shitty piece of dialogue that was really obvious, and every moment where there was, it was obviously ripping on something else. Like I got angrier because it was like, you're just doing what other movies have done and doing it badly. And that is fucking just offensive to me.
But you like Tarantino films. I don't understand this, Quinny.
No, I don't like Tarantino films. Yeah. Look, I mean, yeah, I like J.K. Simmons. I enjoy watching him in anything. Chris Pratt has cemented himself as being the worst Chris. Yeah. I didn't enjoy myself. And actually, I was sitting on the couch watching it with Xavier, and I was kind of just going, "Oh, this movie's dumb." And then he came out, and we realized that it was actually quite funny. So the moments where dumb things were happening, you're like, "That's dumb," and then I started to enjoy myself because the movie was dumb, and I was allowing myself to go, "Oh, this is a piece of shit." So, yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of pieces of shit, I should turn the spoiler logo off.
Wow. Are you
I
going to
don't
get
know how
angry?
that segue worked at all, but okay.
That was a segue much onto the person who ended up riding their segue off a cliff. Should I? Well, now that we're finished with the Tomorrow War, we don't need to talk about it anymore. Maybe we should just have a quick dance break while we have a look at the next series the trailer to the next series that we're going to talk about. Yeah.
I'm down for it.
Yeah, let's go.
Magic gave birth to Eternia, the first planet in all of creation. But now their magic is gone. And without magic, Eternia will rot and die. And as goes Eternia, so goes the entire universe.
I built a life of truth. Away from magic. Now you want me to save magic? Yes, to save Eternia.
If I don't do this, everybody dies. Whatever became of Eternia, we'll face it together. No one else dies.
But the Sword of Power was destroyed.
Not destroyed, divided.
Whether you serve Grayskull or Snake Mountain, we all gotta work together now, or else Eternia dies.
What were we ever fighting for? Being a hero swallows you whole.
Well, that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Behold, the Lord of Destruction.
Still know the tune?
Some things you can never forget.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Oh, wait, I don't need to.
Very excited about this one. I wasn't sure whether Dion was going to say something, but then oh, do we have the music? Oh. The worst thing is, I know Dion can hear it, but I can't.
Oh.
That's okay.
There you go. It's all there.
There it is.
It's all there forever.
Yay. Oh man, actually, if there is one thing that I would have a complaint about this show, and there are very few, is that I would have loved to have heard that original theme just in there somewhere.
Right.
Like Bear McCreary does the music on it, and yeah,
He good.
he real fucking good.
He good.
And I think he does an amazing job. But there are times where I was just like, oh, I would have loved to have just heard that, you know.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of that. But then again, that's me being a big old fucking 80s cartoon nerd, so whatever.
Yeah. All right. Who watched He-Man originally in the 80s when it was first around?
Yes.
Who watched She-Ra?
Can I put both hands up? Yes.
I watched She-Ra as well.
Yeah.
Because I think
She-Ra actually had better villains.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That She-Ra had the better villain, Hordak, and you know, and all of those people. But you know,
and also She-Ra had a whole bunch of like more interesting villains too. And funnily enough, got rebooted first.
Yeah.
Did any of you check out the new version of She-Ra on Netflix?
Yes, I watched part of the first season, but it was too junior for me.
I watched part of the first episode, and it was way too cutesy. So
I've got friends that are like hardcore, love it, but just aimed a bit too young for me. I couldn't get on board.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. Like I watched, I had the same sort of thing. First couple of episodes, I was like, oh, I was very young. Then I kind of stuck with it for a while, and I was like, okay, there's some more interesting shit going on in here. And by the end of it, it was not adult, but it certainly was.
It's very likable and it's very progressive and pragmatic. But yeah, I mean, there's an audience for it, and I'm glad people love it.
Yeah. And yes, as Amy said, love a good lighthearted LGBTIQA plus good show.
Yeah. I actually recommended it to a friend with a 4-year-old that's like, her 4-year-old's into superheroes, but she doesn't want to put her onto like the Marvel DC stuff because it's still very sexist. So she's like, do you know any cartoons that you can recommend? And I'm like, yes.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that this series, and forgive me for being like, I knew it was coming out and I wanted to watch it and I was interested, but I was surprised about how much I dug it. I was very surprised because usually these things come with the little bit of, you know, sure, it'll be okay. Oh, they're rebooting a bit of nostalgia. This is going to be fine. But I think it just hit a perfect balance of ultra stupid kitsch and fan service, but also a decent and understanding plot and excellent characters worked within a framework that is ridiculous. Because you know, we all know the story about He-Man. He-Man is a toy distribution cartoon.
Yes.
That was not for teaching kids about empowerment and how to do things. It was like, yeah, we want to ship plastic to kids.
As much dumb.
How do we sell
plastic as we can.
crack?
Yeah.
Give it a cartoon.
Like I love that He-Man was actually responsible for the children's television code coming into being.
Yeah.
Because it was so successful at shipping plastic crack and they didn't eat there's an amazing episode of The Toys That Made Us that is all about He-Man.
Yeah.
And if ever you get a chance, watch it. But there is that whole thing that they didn't even sell the show. They gave the TV show away for free to anyone that wanted it because it was so fucking successful at selling toys.
Yep. 20-minute advertorials for toys. Animated at the cheapest possible way. They just had lots of color and movement. But, you know, this show is not that.
No. And I think Kevin Smith, I've had my time with Kevin where I'm a bit like,
I enjoy him as a personality.
I do. I
can't say I like his movies though.
Yeah, no, fair. See, I've enjoyed a lot of his movies. I remember, loving Clerks and then enjoying Chasing Amy and and then other films that came afterwards, like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I really loved at the time. But then as he went on, I realized, oh man, he's just doing the same shit over and over and over. He's actually not that good a writer, and he's not a particularly great filmmaker.
But this one isn't that.
No, it's
do you
not.
have a synopsis for us, Quinny?
Yes,
you
I
do.
do.
Did you have a synopsis? Because it is very interesting to talk about this, and like I also want to know about it. I want people to know that this series is picking up after the 1983 to 85 series.
Oh yeah. No, he very definitely said, I want to be able to basically turn this on and feel like I've watched the next episode.
Yeah. Anyway,
Which-
sorry.
yes.
Synopsize away, please, Quinny. Put the
Can I
music
have
back for
He-Man
it.
music?
sorry.
You're going to do it in a Skeletor voice?
He is now.
A radical return to Eternia. Revelation is a direct sequel series to the classic era of Masters of the Universe, featuring fan favorite He-Man, that bumbling boob, Orko, Cringer, the terrified cat, and Man-at-Arms. The story pits our heroic warriors against the guardians of Castle Grayskull, against me, Skeletor. Evelyn, Beastman, the bumbling boob, and the vile legion of Snake Mountain. After a ferocious final battle forever fractures Eternia, it is up to Teela, terrible Teela, to solve the mystery of the missing sword of power in a race against time to prevent the end of the universe. Her journey will uncover the secrets of Grayskull at last. This is the epic He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. He-Man. Fucking ass.
Molar.
Molar.
Eternian
Eternian dentist. Yeah, if you're ever worried
That's
about
what I'll be seeing tomorrow.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, Robot Chicken did an amazing piss take of He-Man
So
with
good.
Molar, the Eternian dentist, and it amused me so much. I have to say that my great friend Quinny bought me the action figures that they made of Skeletor and Molar, Eternian dentist. And it comes with
Molar
the skeleton.
has a big set of pincers for pulling
Giant.
teeth out.
That's so great.
And Skeletor is in the chair with one of his teeth missing. You fucking ass.
Yeah, fucking ass.
Great. Anyway, all of that and more on this show, Masters of the Universe Revelations. It's not called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's called Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Because if they're going to call it anything, it should be Teela and the Masters of the Universe.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Do you think the next one's going to be Masters of the Universe Revolution?
Dance Revolution?
Or is it going to be like The Matrix? The Matrix Revolution.
God, let's hope not. Though, interestingly enough, this is not the first time that the thing has been rebooted. In 2002, they did a reboot series called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So that may be why they actually went for a slightly different title, because it's still owned by someone else.
No, I never saw that. Did anyone see that one?
Good.
No.
It's good?
It's
good?
It's really not bad. It got 2 seasons, 39 episodes. It once again was based on a particular set of of characters and toys that were trying to be sold. So all of the toy designs were done by a company called Four Horsemen, and they had a particularly kind of cool buff look to them. And yeah, it was a good series. I really enjoyed it, but it ran its course. It did its 2 seasons and was like, we're done. But it also was a reboot, and it was trying to kind of update things and do things a little bit differently, whereas this is very definitely a continuation.
Cool.
I was not psyched to watch this, guys. I have to admit.
But we were so glowing in our recommendation of it.
My pitch to Peter was, you should watch it. They freed your dude in the first episode.
And that, to be honest, did get me over the line. When you guys were like, I know you've wasted 2 hours of your life on the Tomorrow War, but actually we've decided to do a whole different thing on Monday and you need to watch this cartoon. I was like,
Yeah, after poor Pete's track record with like cartoons recently.
Yeah,
Well, here's the
and
thing,
your admission
though.
that you're not a big fan of cartoons.
Here's the thing. I remember He-Man from childhood, not because I remember a lot about watching the show, but because we used to play He-Man with the neighborhood kids in the vacant block. That was our favorite game to play. We'd go out and we'd play He-Man and She-Ra, and we'd run around the vacant block and pretend we had magic swords and we were all strong and all powerful. I remember that really vividly. But the idea of kind of having to watch a He-Man cartoon again didn't really get me going, I've got to be honest. And I was pleasantly surprised by how watchable I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not
Possibly because I felt a little bit more represented than I thought I would.
Excellent.
By this show.
Yes.
I don't know, like, at what point we want to get spoilery, because
this is.
I mean, we talk about the things I've liked about it. We do kind of, I guess, have to reveal a fairly major plot point.
Yeah, and like I'm happy to talk about the bits up to a point, and then do a clip, and then talk about the narrative, because I think there's two different sections to Masters of the Universe Revelations, which is like the fan service and how well it treats, like how respectfully it treats where it came from, but then B, what is it doing now that changes everything, and that's where I think the plot comes through.
Yeah.
So we could talk about it in those two specific ways.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, like one of those particular plot points, was something that I was going to get shitty about, because I tweeted out the other day how much I really enjoyed the show, and Kevin Smith came back and was like, "Hey, glad you liked it," and I was like, "Okay, cool, sweet." But then I realized that there was one aspect of it that I didn't particularly love. And it was the toy releases. So He-Man's always been tied to toy releases. And the first line of figures, who do you think's in it?
Well, you'd want to hope Tila, but I'm guessing not.
No.
And also kind of a slight
Is it the guy that's not even in the show for like the first 4 episodes?
No. So so the first four were He-Man, Skeletor, Evelyn. So at least they got one there, and fucking Moss Man.
My one thought about Moss Man in episode 1 was, you would have thought he'd see that coming.
Yeah. I mean, I do love that Moss Man is in there, and I love that they got Alan Oppenheimer to do the voice of it. So Alan Oppenheimer was the original voice of Skeletor and Battle Cat. And funnily enough, Falcor in the Neverending Story. So it was nice that he was there, but at the same time, and also somebody does make the joke, he smells like pine.
Yes,
which is what the original toy smelled like.
It's like a car air freshener. They all had, like, some of them had distinct smells. Like that was one of the things I had to explain as we go. Like Stinkor, when it came out, I was like, I remember that smell. Because the
Stinkor
toys
smelled like camphor oil.
Yeah, and it was just, and it was terrible. But like, I was a bit disappointed with the toys as well, Quinny, because they gave a massive spread, a massive spoiler in that as well with the toy release, because there's a 5th toy that we won't mention just at the moment. You can Google it if you're super curious. But also because
toy companies seem to do that a lot, though. Like. Drop spoilers before an actual
and this was my one bugbear. I'm like, why the fuck is Tila not in the first, like, your starting lineup?
Yeah.
But then when I saw the toy, which is in assortment 2, I looked at her and went, oh, okay, well that's why, because she's wearing her outfit from most of the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, right, no, fair enough.
And
you're trying to hold off on designs being released that kind of show you where characters go.
And I apologize, there were 6 toys in the first wave.
Oh, were there?
Battle Cat as well. I forgot Battle Cat. Sorry about that. But also, I didn't like the packaging. I would have much preferred had we gone back to the like 80s packaging, the blister pack of the stupidity of that. That would have just been perfect. But hey.
And that is something I did love about the show is that, from the moment that the episode starts, when it says like a Netflix series, it's in the original font.
Yeah.
And with the exploding rocks and everything. And I was just like,
well, especially with the cartoony nature of it, it looked like it was crayon drawn. It looked like it was made out of like someone had hand done it, and that's where I think the whole idea that I was happy to see, and it included everything that was stupid that you wanted, like vehicle and toy designs that made no sense to anyone in the show, but they stuck with them. And that was the thing where I was just like, holy shit, they're just leaning in to this. And that's where I was like, okay, that's where the fan service is. And then the plot was just this sprinkling of wonderfulness because it actually made sense. And I was like,
it does race along, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like it doesn't fuck around from A to B in the plot. And I was really surprised when I got 5 episodes in and there was no more.
Yeah.
I was like, where's the rest? Particularly seeing as like episode 5 is like,
yeah, pretty cliffhanger-ish.
Yeah.
Got real dark real quick. Where's the rest?
When's the rest? Yeah, when is the rest coming?
When is the
Well,
rest?
it is coming soon. Like I saw Kevin Smith tweet that they'd just done voice lock or something on episode 5 and 10 or something, on 8 and 10 or something. So they're working on it. It's coming. It's will be along forthwith.
Yeah, like I'm kind of like okay, you've given us 5 now, and I really like that. Where's the rest? Yes.
Give it to me now.
Rob makes a point, that there wasn't as much world building as he would have liked. And
that's the comment you want to talk about? He's talking about Fisto in what I'm reading, and I want to talk about Fisto. Like, you're going to be like, well, the world building's on. I'm like, no, Fisto. We need to talk about Fisto. Because that's the funniest fucking character in all of He-Man, is a dude with a big fist that just sits there and go, hi, I'm Fisto. And it's like, of course you are. And my counterpart, Jutsu, who's got a karate chop hand like me. But I'm like, yes, Fisto and Jutsu, the 2 guys in Eternia. Sorry, Pete, it's too lowbrow, I know.
Yeah. No, but I do want to just ask Rob, what world building are you missing? Because remember, there is also 150 something episodes of the old series that did a whole bunch of world building for you. Like I feel like
they've used the opportunity of calling it a continuation to skip all of that stuff.
Yeah, like we've been to fucking near every corner of Eternia, and in that old series, do we need to world build that, or is it more that you wanted to know what the world was like in the years or months after the first couple of episodes? However long it takes Teela to become a badass.
Well,
more of a badass. Sorry, yeah.
When she, has a bad breakup and has to go and cut her hair.
Gets a haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love all that shit. That was kind of great. It's like, got an undercut now. It's like, yeah. You go, girl.
Yeah. I mean, I love that first opening bit with, Spikor and somebody else rolling up at Castle Grayskull. Because it was exactly the kind of dumb bullshit that Skeletor would do in the old series.
Yeah.
It's me.
I fooled you. It's like, and that was where we're getting all that, kind of fun, exciting acknowledgement. Apart from there's the 2 things, the stupid ideas that they always present in it. Like everything about that old series is really kind of dumb. And even when they represent that in this show and they're talking about it as like the past, or they're showing old scenes, it's dumb. And they don't shy away from how stupid it is, but they just let everyone else. It's kind of like, that is if they did a documentary of He-Man and how kind of good old boy stupid he is, while everyone else has an internal monologue of like, what a fucking dickhead. Sure, he's just He-Man, but he's got the power. We'll just let him do this. Because we never really understood what, was happening in the court. The civilians, they all have their own lives.
I loved how fucking angry Randor got. Like
in the first
when-
episode.
Yeah.
Well,
like when all the
spoil
revelations
anything.
actually came out, I was like, holy shit, he pissed. Like, wow.
Yeah.
He's so angry.
Yep.
And I enjoyed that.
It's good. Is there? Well, I mean, and I know that I'm speaking from a place of love. Does anyone else have any like ideas about things that you liked that, that struck a chord with you?
Liked the character design and the costume design on the characters, and particularly Tila. And I wish my female superhero characters had looked like that when I was a kid, because she looks like exactly how I would think like a super strong, badass woman should look. I enjoyed that, but without getting super spoiler into plot, I can't tell. Like the things that I enjoyed were plot things and character things.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, the things that I enjoyed were all of those design elements that are toys that they've just gone. Yeah, we will use that toy and we'll make it work. So Triclops getting around in his Roton. They're dumbass toys that are stupid, but when you put them into the series, somehow you make them kind of cool.
Sure. And I also love that when they were doing that and they were replicating the toys that were there and all those designs, they just stuck them in there. Like, I just wanted to call out like Preternia when you eventually see Preternia, which was a playset, which explains why there's stupid monorails that run between 3 different themed towers that you sit there and you're like, really? You're gonna say that's fine? You're not gonna change the design of it at all? You're just gonna stick the toy in and go, no, that's where we live.
Yep.
Perfectly fine.
That's our version of heaven. Whatever, cool, go with it.
Isn't that part of the point of it though? If you're going to build your show around, essentially something that serviced toys originally, why not
would you not?
keep those elements of it that it came from, and make something cool out of it?
Yeah, I think it's succeeded.
Otherwise, you could just make a whole new thing and not call it He-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, I love that they get around in a Bashosaurus. Like, one of the fucking dumbest toys. It's like, yeah, cool, go with that. I'm just really annoyed that I didn't see a Dragon Walker in there, because the Dragon Walker is the single stupidest,
They'll get there. I have faith that they'll get there, Quinny.
Yeah.
Well, before we
hope
get
so.
to the spoilery plot stuff that we really enjoyed, we have talked a little bit about it. But the voice casts, so good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna get someone to do Skeletor, get Mark Hamill.
Well, apparently, I read somewhere that Hamill had basically decided he was going to, hang up the old vocal cords. He'd done with it, and this was the thing that made him go, actually, no, I do still love doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, Kevin being like such a freaking huge Batman fan, like I'm sure he had a lot of sway getting Mark Hamill to do it, and like he also got Kevin Conroy in there as well as Merman.
And I do actually have a problem with that.
Really?
That is my one negative of the show.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it is the dumbest of all negatives. But if you are doing a love letter to the 1980s series, Merman sounds like somebody talking underwater. And if you're gonna do it, do it. Like, having Merman sound like Batman, yeah, cool, that's great. It's Kevin Conroy. But the very least, Kevin Conroy could have gone, well, I'm doing the voice. Because that's what fucking Merman sounded like. And I'm just slightly salty on the fact that Merman didn't sound like he was talking like this.
I gotta admit, like, I thought that Mark Hamill's job at Skeletor was a bit kind of like, I mean, he's just so well entwined into the Joker voice now that whenever I hear it, I'm just like, it's just the Joker. But, you know.
Wow. Okay, you're uninvited from my party.
Sure. But everyone else
I mean, the
did
thing
really
is,
great
though,
job.
if you're like a huge fan of that particular niche voice work, that's not what you hear.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I heard a very good, Skeletor. There was a little part of me that goes, you've actually got the original Skeletor in there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is there any reason other than the fact that he's very old now?
Yeah, probably doesn't want to have to do all that stuff. But I mean, do you want me to list off some of the names that are in there?
Sure.
Like, there's heaps, starting with the top level ones. Chris Wood, amazing.
Yep.
No, but like, Liam Cunningham, Sarah Michelle
Oh
Gellar,
my God, yes, he was so good.
Lena Headey, Diedrich Bader.
Sorry, just go back on you skipped over Sarah Michelle Gellar as Teela. You said it, but I think she is worth pulling out as being really fucking great.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I should say, sorry, as her actual title, Man-at-Arms. Yes.
Spoiler.
But yeah, Lena Headey, Diedrich Bader, Lisa Silverson, Stephen Root, Griffin Newman, who I didn't know.
I've never heard of.
No, but also you got people like Kevin Michael Richardson, Kevin Conroy, Henry Rollins.
As
Triclops, which is great.
I think Phil Lamar is in there too.
Yeah, Jason Mewes,
as Hero,
Justin Long, Alan Oppenheimer, Tony Todd.
I love Tony Todd.
Yeah, and Dennis Haysbert, which is also great.
So, and one thing I did notice, a nice little bit of casting, Harley Quinn Smith, so Kevin Smith's daughter, is in there as Elena. I was like, nice.
And one character who I was like, who the fuck is that? Oh, that's Wanda.
Oh man, dude!
So
when we get to spoilers, I've got a lot to talk about that episode.
yeah, absolutely. All right, but yeah, the voices are amazing. They do a great job. Like at no point was I sitting there going, that doesn't match. I was like, no, this is all fine.
No, because I feel like it's a more elevated version of like the 80s. Like you don't want to hear a ham Skeletor like you used to, because that was part of the charm of like 30 years ago. But we're updating it, guys.
All right.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, okay. Maybe that's why Kevin Conroy didn't do this.
But he should have done that.
Well,
is it too much to ask for?
Well, you can just do it yourself. You sit there going, should we go to a clip and then come back and talk about the spoilery stuff? So fair warning to everyone out there, especially in the chat.
Are we going to give a rating or?
Well, do you want to save that till after we come back and finish the show with a rating? How's that sound?
Now, as a matter of interest, which clip are you going to go for?
Well, this is the question that I want to ask. We have two, which we have one, which was specifically about Merman, and it's the flashback sequence. Or
I think we.
Or there's another one which it might be a bit spoilery. Maybe we play that a little bit later on. Okay, we'll just go back to the flashback sequence where Teela and He-Man are taking on Merman and his gang of boobs.
I look forward to our next tussle, but I won't hold my breath. The ship a nice granite.
Thanks to Man-at-Arms, you're all wet, Skeletor.
That's what I loved about it. The cheese. You're all wet, Skeletor. Ha ha ha. Remember, kids, pool safety is a major concern. Till next time, children.
Music is great too.
Yeah.
That theme is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's Bear McCreary doing his thing. And I think probably getting to flex a muscle that, he's known for doing understated, orchestral, all really powerful stuff. Nah, fuck that.
Yep.
Let's do Saturday morning cartoon craziness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued. Right. That's Druidic in the chat is saying that there's a few references to the movie as well, which I picked up on a couple of other ones, but the line of "Let this be our final battle" was something that Frank Langella said in the movie.
Yeah.
Have any of you seen the movie?
Yes. Don't. It's terrible. Like it was the worst. I was really excited to watch a live action He-Man Masters of the Universe film, and then I watched it and I was like, this is terrible.
Dolph Lundgren is He-Man.
Dolph Lundgren
has Courtney Cox in it.
Dolph Lundgren is great as He-Man. He looks the part.
Frank Langella is Skeletor, and he fucking owns it.
His makeup is abysmal. But
I thought his makeup was great.
No, his makeup is abysmal, but he owns the role.
Yeah.
Like that's and even the evil in is great too.
Yeah, like it's a surprisingly not shit movie, but is also totally shit. Yeah. And that Strudic makes a really good point that I wish they'd been able to finish it because the movie ran out of budget right at the end. And so it finishes in one of the most bizarrely like, well, we've got no budget, so let's just have a fight in a dark room. Cool. Okay, bye.
Also, they couldn't afford an Orko character, so they wrote in a totally new character, wizard, like Gwildor, because they couldn't afford to have Orko because Orko floats.
Yeah,
great.
Like,
yeah,
it's a red hot go and well worth a look if anyone feels like going back and like the two human kids because they end up going to Earth, of course, are fucking Courtney Cox and Tom Paris from
from Star Trek.
Yep. So, well worth a look.
Wow.
Yes, if you want to go. Now, spoiler alert goes up. Okay, let's all talk about this. You've been warned. What do you want to talk about?
Shall we talk about your fridging?
Pete, do you want to go? Like, I feel like I really want to hear your perspective on this cartoon.
It did get me across the line to watch the whole series. Well, it got me across the line. You're telling me that they fridge a dude.
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right, I'll be in that. But then also that the dude that they fridged was the dude that you think the show's going to be about.
Yes.
You're like, that is very George R. Martin of you. Well done.
Ballsy.
Didn't think he was going to die.
Yeah.
No. And to be honest, I was watching it going, oh, okay, so he's like been, transported to another. And then you get to episode 5, it's like, oh no, he dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of loved that because I really wasn't enthusiastic about watching it because I thought it was going to be He-Man and I thought it was just going to be boy stuff. And like, there's a time and a place, sure, but I wasn't in the mood for a little boy's cartoon. I'm sorry, I just wasn't.
No, that's completely fine.
And what I got instead, it was like, a cool quest by a cool chick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who, doesn't even particularly want to go on the quest.
No.
Has her own shit that she's dealing with.
Yeah.
And,
refusing the call is part of every hero's journey, Quinny.
Yes, I may or may not have taught some Christopher Vogler in my lifetime. But yeah, I found it fascinating that, yes, she refuses the call, but like her whole thing is this thing of I've been lied to.
Yeah.
She is a legitimately angry, wronged person.
And then when like the rulers of her land are like, oh, well, guess what? Your dad's out. We're done with him. You're going to take over. She's like, no, fuck you.
You all lied to me.
I am outie.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is quite wonderful that they took that whole notion from that first series is like, oh yeah, everyone knew who He-Man was except for his best friend.
Yeah.
Tila.
And his parents. And I fucking love the fact that, King Randor is like, you have been lying to me and my son is fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
You are out. You are fucked up.
That's it. Eternia over. Everyone get out.
And the lights come on.
And
and
Orko's at the punch bowl and go.
Yeah. But that's just the start of that's the start. And it's a great start to go because then you get to have this whole idea, you've got this great start where it, basically removes the two main characters that everyone wants to come for. Like it takes out He-Man and Skeletor and then leaves you to deal with the rest of it. And the greatest thing that comes into the back of it is the idea of magic, that magic is gone from the land. So now there becomes this fantastic idea of Eternia, what's happening out in Eternia. And there's two different things, people who are holding on to magic and people who are starting to, start to put all of their faith in science or, technology. And that was an interesting kind of way to do it. Like, it was just kind of great.
And I mean, that's also been an interesting part of the series from, day dot is that, yes, it's a place where magic occurs. There's magic and monsters and stuff, but also there's these weird high-tech lasers and stuff like that. So how do they coexist? And I like the idea of Triclops and his religion of the motherboard, which is like if everything's obviously been in balance. And if one part of it goes, then the other part starts to go out of whack.
Yeah. And it was Trapjaw and Cyclops, who are the two cyborgish people that were on Skeletor's crew. They're the ones who are like, yes, technology is the way we can become more powerful through that. Whereas Beastman and Evelyn are the other side, the holistic side, and they're on a different path. And it's kind of like, this is great. It's really interesting.
I loved Evelyn's journey. Like,
yeah,
it was so good.
Did you all have I had a little plot when Evelyn took off her helmet and I was like, oh my God. I love it.
And that's one of those things that was actually in the 2002 series. Like she takes off her hat in that one and has the long white hair.
Yeah.
And like it was like, oh, that's really cool. And I love that they've kind of kept a couple of little bits from that as well. Like this has that thing of obviously loving a lot of different iterations of the story. But yes, she's badass. I mean, I like when Duncan gets a man bun.
I love all of those things. At least you've got like interesting character journeys from characters that you wouldn't have thought to be that interesting.
And how
Roboto was interesting.
Oh, fuck yeah. I love Roboto. I will not hear a bad word against him.
I was going to say, like, Orko was actually like a pretty decent character.
Yeah, even Orko got development.
He's the one that kind of like brought Evelyn out of her evil shell and like they connected. I'm like, wow, okay. The two most like, unsuspecting characters to form a bond. Sure.
Okay, let's go with it.
Yeah.
Goddamn Kevin Smith for making me give a shit about Orko. Even the most like just smallest piece of care about whatever the fuck happened to that guy. And now I'm like, damn, kind of miss Orko now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really that scene, Orko's big moment was really fantastic. That was like edge of your seat shit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, what's going to happen? But it's a cartoon, but what's going to happen?
I know, right? Yeah. I was watching it and I'm like, I am super fucking invested in this. I was not expecting to be this invested. Like Tony Todd as Scareglow. Scareglow is one of those dumbass characters that you look at the toy and just go, that's a dumbass idea.
There's a lot of dumb characters in He-Man. Just saying.
But I mean, there's such wealth to like.
I'm hoping that Kevin Smith can bring in Snout Spout.
Oh yeah. Or what's the guy with the elongated neck?
Mechaneck.
For some reason, have that work. Yeah, you twist him and his head goes.
Yep. I love that they even included Exploder.
Yeah.
The dude who, like, his toy gimmick was that you push the button on his chest and he explodes.
Yep.
It's just dumb. And it's like, Cool.
Pete, you need to watch the Toys That Made Us episode about He-Man, just so you can see all of these characters.
I absolutely will do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Like, can we get like super spoilery and talk at 5? Because like, you know, there's a moment there where I'm like, oh, okay, like, cool. Like, we've had some episodes without him and now they're bringing him back. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's like, oh shit, maybe not.
Yeah. Maybe he's actually really dead. Like dead, forever dead. He could be fucking
You've got to
old.
George R. Martin him again. Jesus.
Yeah.
That was a moment I was like, oh, this just got real dark.
Yeah.
Real dark.
Yeah. It's like we're gonna go on a 5-episode arc to bring a character back from the dead, go to hell and to heaven, meet, you know, all of the ancestors and the avatars that have gone before. Sorry, Casper. And then bring him back and just kill him again. Like kill him. What?
But I mean, that was only so lovely because they went to heaven, basically. And then that was kind of like, you know, the perfect thing, because you were explained to what is heaven in He-Man land. And it is all the other masters of the universe, the people who came before him or them. And that was when I was starting to worry. It's like, wow, there's some fucking deep fucking cuts.
Yeah.
In this show.
Yeah. Oh, like
you know,
Hero.
Yeah, Hero, Wanda.
So Wanda. I love Wanda. I nearly fell off my chair when Wanda appeared because Dion, I'm sure you know who Wanda is.
No, I've forgotten. Like, I mean, tell me, inform me.
Wanda is the. I keep saying dumb, but it's dumb. Wanda is a toy that was released as an exclusive mail away when you mailed away a whole bunch of clippings from Wonder Bread. So he is quite literally Wonder Bread He-Man.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So that's because He-Man was not white enough.
Exactly. So that's why he has that black thing with a big W on the front of it. He is Wonder Bread He-Man. And I'm like, God. You're fucking kidding me.
I'm surprised he wasn't in white with the polka dots from the bread bag.
Yeah. Like, it was just, wow. Hero was like a version of the character that was designed as being like it was a toy that was never released.
Okay.
Grayskull was a character that was, you know, designed at one point, once again, never released. So like Kevin Smith is going and looking at old toys. He's looking at fucking, you know, deep cut nerd shit and going, here you go.
How to build a narrative around this sort of shit.
Yeah. And also the thing that I perhaps loved the most, and there's a lot of things that I loved, is that it actually managed to work in the storyline of the two halves of the Power Sword.
Right.
So when you were a kid, He-Man came with a Power Sword. Skeletor came with the same Power Sword, but in dark blue. And they were designed so that you could push them together back to back and they would make one sword. And it was like this sort of, I think everybody was like, oh, that's the main story, is that He-Man's got to put the sword together and then he'll become the most powerful man. And they never did it in the original cartoons, ever. Like He-Man just had the Power Sword and Skeletor didn't have a sword. So they've finally gone, oh, let's acknowledge the fact that the toys did that and give you that thing that you've wanted for fucking 40-something years. Sorry, I get very excited about it. It makes me very happy.
But was it satisfying? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Oh, fuck no.
I love the difference. Like, yeah, no.
I feel like you guys were answering a different question there.
Yeah. You're talking about pushing the swords together or the show?
No, the show, because I want more.
Well, we're going to get more.
Yeah.
I know.
Do we wait and rate it until there's an entire season? Or do we do half of it?
I mean, I can rate it on the first half of like this based on this first half, I just do not understand what's wrong with the internet. I mean, I do. I understand.
Well,
I know
we
exactly
know.
what's
We
wrong with
do
the
know.
fucking internet.
I know what's wrong with the internet, but I just don't understand. Like this gives people an amazing, like as a balance, best of both worlds. It is literally paying fan service to everything, but it is also creating a narrative that you can follow along that is worth your time, that provides good role models for everyone. Everyone does the noble thing and everyone does the evil thing.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
I loved it.
I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Let's give these characters depth. Let's
Yeah.
give them complexity. Like, yeah.
But at the same time, still give them the love that they, and the goofiness that they so richly deserve because they're still dumb toys.
Yeah.
Sure. It is weird
I
that
feel
people
like
are getting...
a lot of the bad reviews are deciding that these dumb toys are actually their greatest heroes, when perhaps before the release of this, they would have acknowledged that maybe they were just dumb toys.
Yeah. No,
Let's
but
be
there's
honest.
just
I
gotta
think
be...
a lot of the reviews are very, very angry that their masculine power fantasy from when they were fucking 10 has been subverted by having a female lead for.
Yeah, I don't want to have to think about the moral complexity of a situation that I no longer have any direct control over.
Yeah.
I wish they were that deep. I honestly think most of them are just going, "Where's my He-Man? I wanted
Yeah.
He-Man and I got Teela. This is bullshit."
But it also makes me really sad that like all of these dudes can't cheer for their best friend from the show. Like if they were He-Man, their best friend was Teela. And it's like, if you can't back your best friend, then fuck off. You're worthless.
Yeah, but then you're not exhibiting that's not very He-Man of you. dudes.
Exactly.
Like-
Yeah.
And I feel like it needed a little bit at the end of the last episode. Well, Cringer, I think we learned a lesson today. And what was that lesson, He-Man? Maybe don't be a whining man, baby.
Yeah.
Don't turn your back on.
I'm actually, as we speak, I've started to read these IMDb reviews.
No,
No,
Peter.
Pete, don't do
What is
that.
There's a
wrong
great
with
one
you?
saying, imagine if they did this to Barbie. You'd be so annoyed. I'm like, oh my God, do you not see
But
the
do you-
difference between us being allowed to have Barbie as kids and you guys getting He-Man? And how?
Also, how does that logic work? Because Barbie has been everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
I mean-
can't let Teela be this one thing.
Wait, if there was a Barbie cartoon show, like a cartoon show about Barbie that fridged Barbie immediately and then made it all about Ken for 5 episodes, but it was just as good as this and we got to find out more about what Ken was and what his motivation, I'd be like, sure. Totally fine with that. Because I know that eventually Barbie's going to come back because the show is called Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is...
I mean,
But
these are the
actually-
same people who were shitty at Captain America for being a Hydra person or whatever. It's like, it's the first fucking episode.
Yeah, it's like just chill out and wait and find out what happens. But also, this series is called Masters of the Universe. So maybe, how there were like Masters of the Universe before He-Man. There's going to be Masters of the Universe after He-Man.
Yeah. What a crazy concept.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, if I was to be pushed into giving it a rating based on the first half or part 1 of this, I would give it 90. It was great. I can't really fault it. I had a great time watching it. I can't give it 100 because I haven't seen the rest of it. Maybe I'll change it. And as a holistic thing, give it 100.
That's a high number.
But yeah, I had a great time. Like when it started, come on, it was the stupid music, the hand-drawn old images from the back of the blister packs and the crazy comics that they used to put in there, through to the whole, cheesy flashback sort of episode bits where this is what He-Man was like, but also having a decent fucking plot. And characters I gave a shit about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. A character that we haven't actually mentioned that I think is probably worth calling attention to is Andra. So played by Tiffany Smith. Teela's offsider, the also most obviously black character. And it was one of those things I was like, wow. It's only when you start to notice that you realize there haven't been many black characters in He-Man at all.
And she's a super cool character, and the whole reason Tiffany takes the entire quest. The whole reason Tila takes the entire quest.
Yeah, and that's just it. I think, I mean, she's an interesting character. I would love to see more of her. I feel like, unfortunately, she does kind of get left a little bit in the plot dust because, yeah, the other bigger characters have a lot more going on. But I think it's important that we also kind of go, she's there, she's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe second half of what we see will have some more for her to do. Not that she doesn't do anything. She does a lot. Like, she's half of all of the fights in the entire thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But, yeah.
But she doesn't get a lot of character development like the other characters do. She's just kind of there for the fights and the good times.
Yes.
Look, by the way that they've done this, and you know, I'm slightly disappointed that we've yet to see the return of Tila's snake outfit. Don't remember that one? No?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so there's a whole thing like Snake Mountain is full of the snake men, and that was the whole kind of thing. Tila's original costume, if you go and look at it, it looks like she's killed and skunned one of them and wears it like a bear suit. Like she's wearing this head of a snake man, like kind of thing. And I kind of went, I'd like to see that. That's fucking badass. What did you do? Well, I defeated my foes and then I gutted them and wore them around because that's what I'm wearing now, you know. No wonder
that would be kind of cool, actually, if they could, because I don't know whether she ever wore it in the series.
No, she didn't. Like, there was a bit too much, but they just made it like on the toy, and it's kind of like, oh, interesting.
Why isn't she wearing pants, guys?
In the toy?
Yes.
I don't know.
I just looked it up.
The patriarchy.
Is this the new toy or the old toy?
The old toy. I'm assuming this is the old toy because she's wearing a snake head.
It's the patriarchy. That's why she's not wearing it.
But just completely bare legs and bikini bottoms.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the sorceress of Castle Grayskull, she also looks like she's stepped out of some 1950s Hollywood dance swimming scene. You know, she's wearing like they don't have any pants for ladies unless you're a queen. Then you can have to cover your knees.
Okay, look, I'm about to go down an 80s Tila design rabbit hole. So instead of doing that, I would give this an 80.
80, nice.
Because it is not my format, but I didn't want to watch it. So I did not go in with a good attitude, guys, but I did end up having fun.
That's good. Yes.
Yeah. I love a show that can win a person over and go, actually, you know what? There's a lot of fun to be had here.
Nice. I am going to give it 85 because whilst I don't have the full nostalgia factor of you gentlemen, I still I have a vague recollection of some of it from my childhood, but I went into it and I was so surprised by how enjoyable it was. And I think the thing that really sold it was the voice cast and the character development. I thought it was really strong plot and all the characters were just like really cool. I had such a good time and I'm dying for the second part. I think I will definitely rewatch the first half probably this weekend.
Yeah.
It's a good time all round.
I'm gonna go 92 because I had a fucking ball with it.
Fuck you for just going higher than me. Just that one. That's not very He-Man of you, Quinny.
Well, sometimes Cringer.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I just was grinning from ear to ear for the whole thing, and you know, from the moment that even the kind of a synopsis-y kind of thing that ran before the first episode, which used a whole bunch of the original painted art and everything with that, I was just like, oh yeah, cool. And it just kept on hitting all the right notes. I was like, yep, great, awesome. And also kept being surprised. Like, see, and just at one point where they step on those little flying disc things, you're like, that's a deep cut. Do you remember doing this? Yes, of course I do. I'm like, I'm almost sure that was in the movie. You know, all those little things that you're just like, yeah, there's somebody who loves it and wants other people to feel that love, but at the same time also go, I've got to tell a decent story. I've got to give more to this than just a kids animated series, because he knew that he wasn't making this for kids.
Yeah.
Like, it'll play for kids, but he's making this for an audience that has grown up since 1984 or whatever it was, or 83.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all the people that hate it have not grown up.
Well, maybe. I mean,
They need to grow up.
And do we have any ratings in the chat? If you do, please drop us some numbers. And I've still got to work out how we got to put all these ratings on the website, because
Yeah, well, I mean, it was going to look really weird that the Tomorrow War is like, wow, really strong score for the Tomorrow War. Based on all these ratings, like, no, that's for He-Man. No, wait, it's for the Tomorrow War.
I'm almost tempted to work out whether we can split this into 2 different podcasts, but who knows?
No, don't make my editing life harder.
I'm sorry.
I don't want this one.
Rob in the chat has also pointed out for me that in regards to my character design of the 80s complaints, that Tila was actually wearing a hell of a lot more than He-Man was.
Yes, he did kind of get around with a loincloth and a harness. Like, he was ready for the club.
He does have the power, because you can tell. There's not a lot of mystery there. Although, you know, talking about like toxic body image issues, like He-Man was definitely one of those ones for the kids. It's like, I want to look like this. No. He's deformed.
He used to wear a pink shirt.
Yeah,
No, that was
purple pants.
Yeah.
It's funny. I recognized a long time ago that I love drawing, and I loved drawing dudes, and I could not draw a dude who wasn't stupidly over muscled. And I realized, what's that?
Because I got to tell you, He-Man is hotter as Adam than he is as He-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, Adam is a little twink in this series. I'm really into him.
But yeah, like I could only draw way over muscled dudes. I still can't draw thin, lithe dudes.
Yeah.
And I cannot draw women for the life of me. And I never had one of the female toys. I never had a Tila, never had a sorceress, never had an Evelyn.
I had a sorceress.
Oh, I had a Zor. The bird that she turned into.
What's happened to Pete?
Female toy, but I did have the animal that she turned into.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's a few, like my worst, my worst kind of He-Man toy was Buzz Off, and you can go and look up that one if you want to know.
I had Buzz Off. He was fucking terrible. Man, and all of these things that I look forward to seeing in the next lot of episodes.
Sure.
Where we get a whole bunch of other ones. If you are still on a He-Man kick, I do recommend hunting down the 2002 series. It's not as good, but it is still pretty cool, and has got some fun bits and bobs in there, like the origin of Skeletor, and how he got the skeleton face and everything. So.
Yeah, interesting.
Cool.
There's some deep lore to go into that. Well, that's the end of the show today. Thank you to everyone. I am exhausted after doing a fuck ton of on-camera stuff, and thanks to everyone else over the weekend. So what I did Friday, and Jill was there Friday, and then Saturday, and Jill was there Saturday.
No, you didn't do Friday. You did Saturday and then Sunday.
No,
and then last night.
You don't remember the JCVD
Oh wait, we
recent?
did do Friday. I was just thinking about the
shit.
Lego.
I've been on
We did
camera.
do Friday. That's right.
I've done 5 days straight, thanks.
Wow,
Oh,
holy
Jesus.
shit.
You deserve a holiday.
People are probably sick of it. Sick
So,
of me. What have we got
you
coming
don't
up,
have to be
though?
there on Friday.
Oh, what are you doing Friday, Quinny?
So Friday is the first episode of something that we're going to try, which is a new format and something a bit different. And I think it's going to be Will, who has been one of our regulars on the Friday night things, and Jill. If you're still up for it, Jill, you're still keen?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something on Friday.
Okay, cool. And it is called Animates, because we're talking about animation, and we're all mates. So yeah, and this week's theme is space.
Space. Well, just that. It trails off at the end. There's just nothing.
Yes. Space. You know, anytime that there was a series that you could think of that was going to be something cool, you could also just put it as in space.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to be talking about. So we will be on Friday night. I think it's 7:30, but we may. I'm not sure whether we'll start at 7:30 or maybe a tiny bit later. But
and then after that, we don't know because we haven't written the August schedule yet. So let us know. Send us a message. Tell us what's going on because remind us of things we may miss and didn't put in the schedule.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
It's probably a good idea. Probably a good idea.
Yeah, I think we could probably imagine that we may have a look at Jungle Cruise.
Potentially. Or the Suicide Squad.
Weekend. Or which one?
The Suicide Squad is out.
I imagine Suicide Squad. G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes. I'm keen to check out.
Ted Lasso season 2. Yeah, well, okay.
Oh, that first
Gotta wait till
episode.
I haven't watched the first episode yet, and I'm scared because I kind of want it. I almost want to just wait till it's all out and binge it.
Yeah.
Oh. No, you need that relentless positivity at the moment. We just need a relentless fucking positivity.
Actually, yeah, I really fucking do.
Yeah. And I was scared it wasn't going to be as good, and then I watched it, and I was like, oh, it's back. It's the same old Ted Lasso endorphin hit. Give me all of that sweet, serotonin.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Yeah. Oh, and June. Yeah, the June trailer was out. That was fun.
Oh, yeah, there was some nice stuff.
Anyway, let's wrap it up there, I think. I think that's about it. Quinny, did you have anywhere to take us?
Yeah, look, I reckon we might go and raid Hex. She's doing some fun stuff. I'm not actually sure what she's doing at the moment.
Yeah, right.
But honestly, she's playing New World. Actually, Hex and Bajo are both playing the New World. They've got a beta of it, so they're going to be doing a bit of that. So if you're interested in checking that out,
is that the Terrence? Is it the Terrence Malick, The New World, the computer game?
Yes, that's the one. A lot of hands going through a lot of grass,
wavy grasses and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
the Spaniards.
It's
All right,
going to be great.
And we're going to say bye.
Goodbye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. Deep-powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have him teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. With martial arts from iron fist and wall, I'll dance her up and teach her all my songs.